feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign.
Hello everyone, welcome back Jikook. Today we are back to discussing the sweet moments of Jungkook and Jimin, and the surprising news in a video that went viral on the ceiling of a tweeter. The upload started from a clip in BTS TRIP EP.3 which showed the excitement of the foot volleyball match, Jokgu, of the BTS members. In a relaxed and laughing outdoor setting, what initially seemed simple turned into one of the most lively and entertaining moments in the episode. As always, it's not just the games that attract attention, but also the spontaneous interactions between the members that always manage to steal the audience's focus. The clip shared shows a situation when the game gets a little chaotic due to funny rules debates, constantly updated score changes. Even the number 1 o'clock is mentioned in confusion, and the typical jokes that often appear in their variety content. In the chaos that invited laughter, the attention of many viewers was focused on Jungkook's reaction to Taehyung V, in a moment that also involved Jimin. Some viewers interpreted Jungkook's reaction as defensive, as if he was responding to something related to Jimin in the middle of a joke of laughter. His facial expressions, body gestures, and tone of voice in the clip have become the subject of discussion on various social media platforms. Not a few see it as strong evidence of how the friendship dynamic between them is so natural. Sometimes crowded, sometimes full of petty arguments, but always wrapped in warmth. However, the upload that included the clip did not stop at simply sharing funny moments. The upload was also accompanied by criticism of some fans who are often involved in fandom debates, especially those who like to form excessive narratives based on short moment snippets. Taehyung shippers and Jungkook solo fans are said to often spread negative comments about Jimin, even though the interaction between the three in the clip shows a dynamic that is far from that assumption. According to the upload, Jungkook's behavior in the Jokgu clip actually shows that he will not agree with the negative comments directed at Jimin. His quick reaction in game situations is considered a spontaneous reflection of the familiarity and care that has been built up over the years among the members. For many viewers, the moment is not evidence of conflict, but rather proof of how strong their bond is that even small jokes can look dramatic if cut without context. The Jokgu game itself actually takes place in a very relaxed atmosphere. They laugh when they misunderstand the rules, blame each other in joking tones when the score changes, and are even seen enjoying the small chaos that occurs on the pitch. This is the hallmark of BTS's variety content. It is not the perfection of the game that is the attraction, but the honesty of their interactions as friends. The clip ended up being a reminder to many fans that short snippets of a show can easily be misinterpreted when released from the full context of the episode. In the full duration of the episode, it is clear that all those moments are just part of a laugh-filled game, not a serious situation as some people imagine. The discussion that emerged from this upload also developed into a broader reflection on how fandoms often build their own narratives from their idol interactions. In fact, if watched in its entirety, all you see is a group of friends enjoying time together, joking, arguing a little about the rules of the game, and then laughing together again afterwards. In the end, the clip from BTS TRIP EP.3 was not only entertainment, but also a small lesson in the importance of looking at context before concluding anything. The moment that shows Jungkook, Taehyung, and Jimin on the Jokgu court actually confirms how natural, warm, and what their relationship is, something that is often lost when viewed only in a few seconds. Looking back at the entire Jokgu segment in BTS TRIP EP.3, it becomes clear that the essence of the moment is not about who is right or wrong in the rules debate, but rather about how the BTS members enjoy their togetherness without burden. Laughter that breaks out repeatedly, protests delivered in a joking tone, to collective confusion about scores, are all part of a dynamic that is already very familiar to their content's loyal audience. In that much talked about piece, Jungkook's expression looks quick and reflexive. He seemed to respond to the situation spontaneously, as if he wanted to set something straight in the middle of the game's small mess. This reaction is then attributed to Jimin's position in that moment, while Taehyung V is on the other side of the same conversation. At first glance, the scene can indeed provoke many interpretations. But when watched in full flow, it's clear that everything takes place in a light-hearted, joking atmosphere. One of the things that makes this segment interesting is how those small debates never turn into tension. In fact, every protest that arises always ends with laughter. They pointed at each other, laughed, and then returned to focus on the game. No serious expression lingered. All returned to the relaxed rhythm typical of their variety shows. For many fans, this moment is a reminder that the relationship between them has been through so many phases together. Long rehearsals, world tours, industry pressures, and infrequent breaks. The bond is impossible to reduce to just a few seconds of video clips. In fact, it is small moments like these that show how natural their interactions are with each other. The upload that raised the clip then developed into a broader discussion about how some people in the fandom often build a narrative from facial expressions or gestures that occur in a fraction of a second. In fact, such interactions are very common among friends who have been together for a long time. Sometimes the tone of speech sounds firm, but the point is still to be joking. Sometimes the expression looks serious, even though the next second he is laughing again. On the other hand, this moment also shows the character of each one. Jungkook, who is reflexive and responsive, Jimin, who stays relaxed in the midst of small commotions, and Taehyung, who gets caught up in the funny debate. This combination of characters has always made their content feel alive and not made up. As the game continued, the debate over scores and rules slowly faded away. Refocus on how they enjoy the game, running, laughing, and cheering each other on. The camera captures many small moments. A smile that appears suddenly, a joke thrown out of script, and a sense of togetherness that feels sincere. From this, many viewers began to realize that what really stood out most was not the defensive reaction being debated, but rather their cohesiveness as a team. Even in the chaos of the game, they kept moving as one solid group. The discussion that surfaced on social media ended up being an important reminder for fans not to rush to deduce something from a clip piece. In the full duration of the episode, it is clear that the moment is just part of a long series of laughs that occur throughout the Jokgu game. In the end, the Jokgu segment in BTS TRIP EP.3 is one of the best examples of how the spontaneous interaction of the members is often more meaningful than the planned dialogue. And from that moment, many fans were reminded that what they were witnessing was not just an idol in front of the camera, but a group of friends who really enjoyed time together. If you look deeper, the Jokgu segment in BTS TRIP EP.3 also shows an interaction pattern that is very familiar to longtime BTS fans. Whenever a game involves slightly confusing rules, there is almost always a small argument that turns out to be the main source of entertainment. They never really focus on winning or losing, but rather on how the moment can be enjoyed together. Meanwhile, Jimin looks calm amid the confusion of the rules. He seemed to enjoy the situation, letting the small debate go on without warming up the atmosphere. His relaxed attitude is actually a counterbalance in the midst of energy that is more exciting than others. On the other hand, Taehyung V seemed to be dissolved in the joke, expressing his opinion with an equally light expression. When all three are in the same frame with such dynamics, it's no surprise that the audience feels the scene is full of meaning. But the most obvious meaning is actually familiarity. They speak without burden, react without pretense, and laugh without the need for a big reason. This is the type of interaction that can only arise when the relationship is already very comfortable. The chaotic Jokgu game slowly turned into a small stage that showed their natural chemistry. The camera doesn't need to look for dramatic moments, as a small drama already emerges on its own from a simple score debate. And as always, the little drama ends not with suspense. As the game nears its end, their energy remains the same. Full of jokes, full of laughter, and full of togetherness. There is no sign that the previous small debate left any impression. They walked together again, joked again, and continued the next activity with a warm atmosphere. And that's where the beauty of the moment lies. Not on the little debates, not on who is right or wrong, but on how everything just passes in laughter. A simple but powerful picture of friendship that has stood the test of time. Thank you for watching until the end, Jikook lovers. If you also feel Jimin and Jungkook truly delivers in every performance, don't forget to support this video by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Let us know in the comments which performance moment from the Face era gave you the most goosebumps. See you in the next video.